Welcome to PM Movie Recaps. Today's pick is an action and adventure of 2000, Vertical Limit. If you're ready, let's enjoy the video. In a mountain range in the southwestern United States, veteran mountain climber Royce Garrett is traversing a cliff base with his son Peter and daughter Annie. Amateurs above them lose their footing and endanger them all, eventually causing all three Garretts to hang precariously from a cable that cannot support their weight. Royce orders Peter to cut the rope, sacrificing himself to save his children. Years later, Peter has retired from climbing and as a wildlife photographer. Annie has become a renowned mountain climber but resents Peter for cutting the rope. When his assistant is injured, Peter shows up at base camp as Annie attempts to climb K2 in the Pakistan province of Gilgit-Baltistan, the world's second highest mountain, which is very dangerous to climb because of the tough conditions which await at the summit. Complicating matters further is the war between Pakistan and India, which has limited the expedition's support and resources. The expedition is funded by wealthy industrialist Elliot Vaughn, who is also going to climb, with the help of his friend Tom McLaren. There is a huge party the night before the climbers begins the trek, which is briefly interrupted by an eccentric, Montgomery Wick, who warns that none have ever conquered K2, and none will. It's later revealed that Wick's wife, an expedition guide, died during Vaughn's previous expedition. Vaughn claims they were hit by a storm and Wick's wife died of pulmonary edema because her supply of dexamethasone was swept away in the storm. Wick has never believed that story and has spent years trying to find his wife's body. Vaughn is introduced to Peter, whom he asks to accompany them on the trip, but Peter instantly refuses. During the present climb, Vaughn forces McLaren to continue despite a radio warning from base camp of an approaching storm. An avalanche occurs, and Annie, Vaughn, and McLaren become trapped in a crevasse, while the other two are killed. Radio contact is lost, but Peter hears Annie using static and Morse code to signal that they are alive. Peter assembles a rescue team, which includes Wick. Pairs are assigned, and after a treacherous helicopter drop-off, each pair takes a different path to increase chances of success. Each pair carries a canister of explosive nitroglycerin donated by the Pakistani army to clear the entrance to the crevasse. Monique and Cyril enter trouble when Cyril loses his balance and clings to the side of a cliff. After Monique secures her harness to him, the peak cracks and Monique also falls over the edge and the nitro falls from Cyril's backpack and creates a huge explosion that the other teams notice. Cyril is able to climb back up, however, while he cheers arrogantly lowering a harness for Monique, they both hear a rumbling noise. The explosion and crackling have in fact started an avalanche and is heading straight for Cyril. Cyril, unable to do anything, watches and screams helplessly as the avalanche swamps him and subsequently throws him over the edge off the peak. Monique, still hanging onto the edge, manages to survive and get back onto the peak. She then radios in and informs base that Cyril has been killed but orders them not to tell Malcolm yet, as Cyril was his brother. At the military station, the nitroglycerin canisters are exposed to sunlight and explode. Base camp tells the team to get their cases of nitro into the shade. Kareem and Malcolm do so, but their canister leaks fluid into the sunlight, causing an explosion that kills them. Underground, McLaren is severely injured and has lost his dexamethasone. Annie shares her dex with him, but Vaughn refuses it. Annie risks her life to reach Ollie's backpack and manages to obtain more dex, but Vaughn says that since McLaren is unlikely to survive, he and Annie should keep the dex for themselves. The explosions have shaken loose some ice, and Wick finally discovers his wife's body. The empty dex container nearby suggests that Vaughn lied and stole her dex, ensuring his own survival while leaving Wick's wife to die. Monique, Peter, and Wick camp for the night. Peter is wary of Wick, who seems more intent on taking revenge than rescuing the survivors. In the crevasse, Annie falls asleep, and Vaughn kills McLaren with a syringe full of air to avoid having to give McLaren more dex. Wick awakens to find that Peter and Monique have left without him. Annie and Vaughn manage to mark the crevasse entrance by detonating a flare inside a bag of McLaren's blood, which explodes over the snow. Peter and Monique see the marker and use nitro to blast a hole, enabling access to the survivors. They drop a rope, and Vaughn harnesses Annie. Wick descends into the cave, and although Vaughn thinks Wick will attack him, Wick attaches a clip to Vaughn. Monique and Peter attempt to pull Annie out of the crevasse, but an ice boulder falls, knocking Wick and Vaughn from the ledge in the crevice, and pulling Annie and Peter down, creating a scenario similar to the opening scene. Monique remains alone on the ledge, holding the rope from which the other four are dangling. To save Annie and Peter and to fulfill his desire for revenge against Vaughn, Wick cuts the rope, and he and Vaughn fall to their deaths. Recovering at base camp, Annie reconciles with Peter, who then pays his respects at a makeshift memorial for climbers who have died. Thank you for watching. But before leaving, please make sure that you click subscribe and turn on the notification so that you can enjoy watching more videos like this.